Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Natasha, and I am making a video today that is very interesting, uh, unless you're experiencing it, and then it's frightening. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about autonomic dysreflexia. And what I've learned, because I'm going to be giving you my experience over the last 2 years and not what I've been told by my doctors. My experience is if you have a doctor that can't say autonomic dysreflexia, they're going to say AD response, and that's just fine. But it is telling. And if you too are experiencing this, welcome. I am so sorry. And if you are just here for interest and to fill the void, so you don't have to be alone, hopefully this is worth the 10 minutes for you. Just remember, I make videos at my own pace because nobody's pays me to do that. But if you like my content, subscribe below, give me a like. But let's talk about blood pressure and cool accessories that you too can own. And you don't even have to break your back for it. You just have to have money in an Amazon account or someone else's. I don't know. It's just whatever you want. So, autonomic dysreflexia. That's the important thing today. And that is why I do have cool accessories, because I got really tired of like lugging around a blood pressure cuff everywhere I went. And then I also I had a digital one, but it needed to be plugged in. So that was a little fun stint of me trying to get it a plug in so I could see if I was just experiencing low blood pressure or if I was having an episode. Don't do that. Do this or something like this. So let's start with the basics. The basics of autonomic dysreflexia is essentially, the best way I can describe it humorously anyway, is that your body is having a stage 11 category 5 meltdown, like a toddler on the floor of a grocery store that was just told they can't have candy because it's experiencing discomfort and you're not doing anything about it because you're a bad, neglectful parent. So, what does that actually mean? Essentially, what happens is if you have injured yourself, either you had an accident or your body hemorrhage or something unfortunate that caused an injury from T6 and up. And I got in there, I just got in on T5 so I could make sure I experience all of life has to offer at some point. But that means it puts you at risk. 70% of patients that have an injury at T6 and up are going to end up with autonomic dysreflexia, which is essentially what I just said. It's your body's reaction to a sensation that it can't get away from. And you're not doing anything about it because you do not know it. Because what happens when you break your back, it's the same reason you cannot use your legs anymore. At least for me, the same reason I can't use my legs anymore. It's the same reason I can't feel pain from my legs anymore. That does not mean the pain isn't existing. If you sit on a tack, it still hurts, just like you sit on a tack. It's just all that pain signal is going up and up and up your spine and stopping wherever that break happened and wherever that blockage is. It's essentially like you built a little blockade like North Korea, South Korea. Sometimes something gets through. Most of the time it doesn't. It gets shot at the border. And it's really sad. But I like to liken things to war because it's a battle I can win. This is not something that's winning though. I mean, I do with this watch and my floor vacuum, those are all robots. I'm sure they're just selling my information in China. That means they know exactly where I sleep. So if they do want to show up here and fix me, I will accept that as payment for giving them all of my personal information for years. That would be so nice. But the more likely event is that will not happen. And then they just have my information so they can target ads to me like this. They're like, hey, you in a wheelchair? You need to check your blood pressure? Let's get you a smartwatch that's not as expensive as a smartwatch and is shiny. What I liked about this one, though, is that it has a magnet that is the actual attachment. Because if you're like me, And you can't wear watches with like the little metal thing because all you do is play with it until it breaks off or it stabs you to death, which I'm still alive, so that never happened. That is what this is good for. It's a solid piece, so it doesn't have like little holes in between it that is like getting caught in your arm hair. But it is, like I said, a magnet. So if you do get this one or something like it, do not plug this into your laptop or your computer to charge. It's still a magnet. We like our hard drives. We haven't evolved past that. Don't put magnets on your computer things. It's not good for it. But you can't plug it into like your power outlet. And then other than that, the reason I do wear this is because if you are experiencing an episode, what happens is that your blood pressure skyrockets, but your heart rate plummets. And that is where the problem goes. Essentially, like you're not doing anything about your body's problem. And so it gives up on life a little bit. That's fine. That's fine. It's just passive aggressive. I thought we worked that out through therapy, but apparently there's some couple therapists for your body and the mouth part. That will probably happen before we figure out how to work out our issues with our spines, however. So look forward to that. So regardless, when you are experiencing that, the reason it's so important to pay attention to it is because the end of the line there is actually death. It is, if you Google it, autonomic dysreflexia, it's exactly what it sounds. It is a life-threatening condition. And that's very melodramatic. And I was very flippant about it because I also thought transparently that I was part of the 30% that wasn't going to be getting it. That wasn't happening to me until about 10 months later, where it was just undeniable. That is what is happening to me. So other than trying to avoid death, because I have successfully survived all the accidents I've been through in my life, relatively fine. Yeah. If you don't know, I am fully in a wheelchair, and I probably will be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life unless Elon Musk wants to fix us with Neuralink or something cool like that. But this does mean that there's something else that you have to pay attention to, because your body is trying its best to keep itself alive, but if you ignore it, it doesn't want to do it anymore. And it is a constant struggle because for me, like one of the symptoms is just kind of sweating. You could be sweating because you're too hot. You could be like pouring sweat. And then also be like me, because if you break over T6, you might not be able to control your temperature. So if it's a little warm outside, it's kind of a toss-up. Am I too hot? Am I having an AED response? So that is the way to check. And like what I've learned is I just kind of like check my blood pressure. And I did that fully checking my pulse. So what I mean is I check my pulse. Because if I'm not wearing this, which let's face it, I'm not dependable. If I'm wearing it, awesome. If I'm not, I have no idea where it is. I'll find it eventually and put it back on. But if I'm not, if I'm trying to figure out if I'm having an AED response, if I try and feel my pulse, it's nice and steady, or if I can't feel it at all, that means I probably am having an AED response. Because normally my pulse is a little bit faster than normal, especially if I'm wheeling around. It makes it pretty easy to differentiate. But if you are having a response, you have to figure out like what is it caused from, because it can be something as simple as like your clothes are pinching because they're a little too tight, like at your knees. It could also be something internal, like you have a UTI and your bladder hurts, which is sad because that's also the reality of having a cath yourself, is that you are introducing bacteria into your body that it isn't designed to do. Who knew? It doesn't like to have tubes shoved in it every 4 hours. That is just how you keep yourself alive, though. What does that mean? Does that mean you get to lay in bed and not do anything ever again? Well, no, because we still want to enjoy our lives. Like, if all life is pain and suffering, one, you're going to be a really strong person. But two, you still get to pepper it in with things that you enjoy, regardless on how much pain and hassle you're going through. Like today, I don't know if we can see, but today is a Super Mario Day. Today is the blessed day where the Switch 2 has graced us with our presence. And I actually got one. I hauled myself down, drove an hour to the nearest town, sat outside of Target, and just hoped that there was enough Switch 2s to go around. But turns out I was the only one really early, which was nice because I got one. No pre-order required. So it's a great day. And I'm going to go mindlessly play Mario Kart and laugh as I victoriously just stomp through 50cc and then work my way up to 150cc and then ignore 200cc because I'm pretty certain the computer's better than me. We don't talk about that though. We just worry about the normal people that I get to play that hopefully I'm still better than. That's the goal of Mario Kart. It's proving your superiority over your peers since, 1997 or 95. I can't remember. But that is what I'm going to be doing. And if you do not play video games, that is just fine. I hope that you do anything that you want to do with your day. But if you want a healthy, artistic, creative outlet, maybe experience some stories some video game writers made. There's some mindless stuff that you can do, but there's absolutely mindless trash on TV. And if you watch reality TV and you don't play video games, let me influence you and experience something awesome. But other than that, I love you all. I hope that you all have a great day. Do not have AD responses, hopefully ever. But if you do, take care of yourself.